Today I want to ask you if you're a sorcerer. Why am I asking this? I'm not the magic kind of guy. It's like I'm all about the theories and the structure and the cogs and the wheels. But I am speaking and I'm talking and I'm creating a message and I'm creating a connection and I'm creating a reputation that I'm ruining right now by holding onto this mic. And all of that is non-material. It's not, you can't touch it, it's non-tangible, but it has an effect in the world. Therefore, there's a bit of magic in the world. There's a bit of something. We are social creatures and we speak. So there's something floating around in this ether that has an effect. So if we take that for today, or just for this video, just for the 10 minutes here, what can we discover about ourselves? Can we discover if we're a sorcerer or a theurgist? A sorcerer being someone who uses magic for their own means in the castle, mischievous, like, I don't know, rubbing their hands, whatever. And then we have the theurgist out in the forest who is at harmony with everything and is in flow and doesn't use the magic to serve their own needs, but channels in something higher and serves their needs. And there's a stark distinction between those two. It's very obvious. We've all watched a certain amount of fantasy to know the difference between those two. And to know that the sorcerer is usually good, but can sometimes be bad. As in, usually, we are here, we are trying to, again, build that reputation, build the communication, we are trying to get what we want. And of course we are. Actually, pause. Everyone for a second. Because I'm in Ireland, and I think most people who watch this video are in Ireland, and we are all too familiar with shame. So, if we're going to go into this, we're going to be on about how we manipulate others to get what we want and how we present ourselves to get what we want. Let's just forgive the shame. Forgive ourselves for shaming ourselves, and forgive whatever reason we have for shaming ourselves. Because of course we do all of these things. I am not telling you this to shame you. I'm telling you this to enlighten, or to just to uncover these little mechanisms that do be at play in our everyday lives, in mine included, as in I can know a load, and I am not immune to any of this stuff, because there's a funny guy in work and I want to laugh, so I'm going to give him a joke, I'm going to give him a stupid story or whatever it is, because I want a laugh. So that is me doing sorcery. That is not me channeling my higher power of trying to break people's frames, of trying to get them to widen their scope, of trying to get them out of whatever script or whatever puppetry that they are in at the moment. That's my higher thing that I like to kind of dedicate myself to. And me trying to get a laugh has nothing to do with that. That is purely self-serving. And it's allowed. It's okay. So let's hopefully I put enough energy into that so that you can avoid the shame of this topic, because just why? We are here to see, we are not here to judge. So with all of that being said, there's an exercise that comes here and that will break all of this apart and might help you kind of navigate this terrain as we talk about it. The exercise is something I got from Mind Valley. It is Speak Your Inspiration, or it's the one about storytelling. And the exercise is that you imagine your eulogy, your funeral, and there's 4 people who talk at it. And that is a friend, a family member, someone from work, a colleague, and someone from your community. And what you might notice, so if you want to take a moment, pause this video and actually kind of think about that, like really try to digest that. Yeah? Okay, we're back. Because usually everyone's family is going to be quite unique to them, so I won't speculate on that one. But to our friends, we are fun and we are playful. In work, we are very respectful and we are a bit more reserved. And in the community, we might be, again, depends how active you are in it, but quieter or more leadership orientated or more just helpful or whatever it is. But we are not these things. We are the thing that travels with them. We have integrity. That's the word I really want to focus on today. Because if we are sorcerers at all times and we are trying to get what we want, I'm trying to get what I want from my friend. I'm trying to get what I want from work. I am going to end up being multiple different people, and that's tiring, and there's so much performance, and you can get lost in the performance. And then, like, the performance isn't a person, the performance is just performance. So it doesn't feel any motivation. So if we get lost in it, we won't feel any motivation. And if we get lost in it because it doesn't feel connection, because it's not a real person, then we will feel like we're not connected because we get lost in it. So again, trying to think about what is integral to us, what values do we prioritize, and all of this other stuff. But we will leave that for another video. For today's video, it is simply how we are being perceived from the outside. How do people see us? Because they can, like, if you're thinking about your eulogy, you're not there. They can be real blunt. And especially, it depends which one of your friends steps up. But I know for me, as in, like, do you know what? Maybe even after the eulogy, after you do this exercise, and you're just kind of chilling out then, like tonight, or just some sort of relaxing time in the evening, and just imagine the stories that your friends would tell at the party afterwards. That should put a smile on your face. Or you'll cringe. You'll do both. You will both cringe and have a smile on your face, and just be able to laugh, hopefully, at how flawed we all are, yourself included, myself included. We are all flawed as hell. And there's no finish to that. There's no, just life is living, and to live is to learn. Regardless. So, that's the exercise. So when you're going through this, just be like, okay, each situation, I am a different person. Different people bring different sides out of me. That's natural, and that's at harmony. That's a theurgist side of it. That the funny guy makes me funnier because it's some bit cyclical. Now, some days I'm having a really bad day and I just want a funny to get me out of it. It's like, okay, that's a bit of sorcery. But then there's going to be other people who are very theory-based, for me, or very artistic-based. And you'll start talking about stuff that you haven't talked about in a while. That they like books, or they like films, or they like art, or they like music, or they like soccer, or blah, 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 blah. Each person has different interests and brings out a different side of you. All of that's totally theurgic. That is natural, that is at flow with the situation, with the environment. The sorcery then is when you take more from that than is natural, or you try to capitalize that perhaps, or you try to move it to somewhere else, or you try to do something else. And again, not always bad, not always how dare you, or anything like that. But just is something that needs to be kept an eye on. And there's two little tripwires that will let you know if you're in a good spot or a bad spot. And that is fear and ego. Are you doing sorcery out of fear? Because you're afraid of what will be said when you're not there. You're afraid of what will happen when you're gone. You'll be afraid of perceptions, ramifications, whatever else. Or alternatively then, ego. Do you have an appetite? Are you feeding something because you can't sit still? Which again all stems from fear, but it's easier to recognize ego. Which is that, again, so I'm trying to big myself up. I'm trying to make myself seem smarter, funnier, more good looking, more social, more whatever else. I'm trying to make myself seem cooler, more open, more extroverted, less neurotic, more conscientious. Again, wherever this lies, but it is trying to feed something to fill the hole, and that's ego. So those two. Now, if you're avoiding those two, you're probably in a good spot. As in, like, they are two just quite easily identified tripwires for bad sorcery. So, I'm going to, actually, before I leave that, I want to say that I got this t-shirt from my girlfriend during the week. and it kind of inspired the video today. I love it. She thinks it looks like Alan Watts with the pipe and all the rest. I also watched a video with Jordan Hall and John Vervaeke showing up once again. Who would have thought it? But again, and that's who had that discussion between the theurgist and the sorcerer, and there was a lot in that talk. I will leave a link in the video in the description below. And just these people are wizards in their own right. So I'd recommend it, but whatever. So yes, that is the inspiration for this week's thing. I hope you had a good week last week. I hope you're going to have a good week next week, or in the week coming. I hope you hit the like and hit subscribe, because everyone has to say that. And like, is there a way of saying that with integrity? Because again, that's a performance, because it's just a thing you have to do to fit into the group of doing YouTube videos. And it's just like, the integrity part is me laughing at myself for doing it, for saying, hey, isn't it ironic that I'm doing it ironically? Even though I genuinely do. Look, whatever. That's something for me to mull over and me to work through, and that's just its own thing. So I'm going to leave that there. Have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.